So we're going to go through each section one at a time. So the intro section. This is where you got to get my attention. This is where you have to capture my heart and my mind, right? You have to be more interesting than my cell phone. So any of you that know that sit next to me, my cell phone is constantly buzzing. It's emails coming through, it's Voxers coming through, it's Twitter notifying me of something, it's my husband reaching out to me. All of those things are really important to me, or I wouldn't have push notifications on my phone, right? You have to be so interesting that I ignore the vibrating phone in my pocket. That is hard to do. And you've got around, at most 60 seconds, it's usually 30 seconds to get me there. In that intro section, this is where we want to identify the problem, the pain, the opportunity, and introduce yourself. So let's think back for a moment how I started. How did I start? I said, you suck at pitching, right? I do that a little bit on purpose. I want to get in your face a little bit because what it does usually is make everybody stop what it is they're doing and look at me. She just insulted me. I do it on purpose, okay? The second thing I said was, I've been listening to thousands of pitches for over a decade. I've established some sort of baseline credibility. So you know that I'm allowed to talk about this, right? I introduced myself. I said, I'm Nicole, I'm product officer at Techstars, right? And then I said why you guys should pay attention. So you guys won't suck at pitching. It's a very extreme example, but for what it's worth, I did all that in about 20 seconds. You guys are taking minutes to do it. You gotta get it under 60 seconds. Ideally under 30 if you can, because you've got my attention. Once you lose my attention, you're not gonna get it back. So we're gonna spend most of the time talking about that intro. All right, so you wanna introduce yourself and your brand, you wanna establish baseline credibility, you wanna illuminate the problem. I did all those three things and explain what you do and why I should care. Because you're gonna make me a lot of money. That's why I care. There might be other reasons I care, like I might be attached to your problem in some way. That's a great hook, right? I might be mindful. I think that's a great hook. I might like to care about my putting together my family tree. Those are all great hooks. But at the end of the day, I want to know that you're going to make me money. So the goal is, please be fucking interesting. I highlight this for a reason, because I'm not kidding when I tell you that I've listened to thousands of pitches. I've listened to literally, it's probably like around 1,000 to 1,200 pitches a year. So if you multiply that out by a decade of doing this, that's a lot of pitches, right? You have to stand above them. You have to capture my attention. This isn't just about me, Nicole Glaros. This is about every investor that's in the room. Their job is to listen to pitches. And I guarantee you that they've heard your story before. Not your story, but they've heard your business before. So you got to figure out how to stand head and shoulders above everything else that they've heard. All right, some ideas on how to be interesting. Talk to me about a startling fact, an interesting personal story, contradict conventional wisdom, right? This is a question that you asked earlier. Make me laugh, plan a fear, be appropriately different. We're gonna watch some videos of some entrepreneurs that I think that did this really well. So Keen.io, they went through the Techstars class, our first cloud program in San Antonio in 2012. They have a highly technical product, highly technical. And every time they tried to tell anybody about it, whether mentors and investors, everybody just got this glassy look on their face because nobody got it. You have to be an engineer to understand what they do. And nobody was interested, so mentors weren't interested in working with them, investors weren't interested in talking to them. They were just falling down flat in terms of their Techstars experience, but also in terms of trying to attract any sort of investor attention. Until they learned how to, they explain their product through telling a story.
Hey everyone, great to be here. I'm Ryan, one of the co-founders at Keen. And at Keen, we are reinventing analytics for mobile applications. And to help me explain how, I'm going to tell you a little story. This is Tycho Brahe, a 16th century astronomer. He's famous for collecting an astounding amount of astronomical data. Every night, he would write down the position and the brightness of every star and every planet in the sky. And after 30 years of doing this, he died. Luckily, he had an assistant named Johannes Kepler. Kepler took Brahe's data, applied his own genius, and single-handedly came up with the laws of planetary motion that we still use to this day. Because Brahe dedicated his entire life to gathering all that data, Johannes Kepler is now cemented in history as a genius. And that's exactly what we do. Every mobile application is its own universe, full of data being generated by millions of users. And we can record that data in meticulous detail, just like Brahe. Only instead of stars and planets and their positions, our technology records every touch, every swipe, every purchase, and every share. We can record every interaction within an application and store it in our data warehouse in the cloud. And our customers use this data to discover new patterns of how their users are using their application. Our technology unleashes their genius. We turn our customers into Johannes Keplers.
Okay, what did you like? Who learned something? Right? You guys forgot that story from middle school or whatever, right? Who gets what they do? You think you got it, right? Pretty sure you got it, right? What about his stage presence? What do you think? Good or bad? If you think it's good, raise your hand. If you think it's bad, raise your hand. A little bit more on the bad side. Did he sound a little bit like a robot? No? Sounded really well rehearsed, maybe? You know what happens if a guy like that forgets his next line? He stands there and goes, right? So they had that memorized really well. But it's also really bad because if you forget your next line, you don't know how to like roll your way through it. Who thought it was too long? Only a couple people, right? That was 2 minutes. Did that feel like 2 minutes? No, because he captured your attention the whole time. Whose mind wandered? Be honest, it's okay. Only one. Powerful for a 2-minute story on something that you probably heard as a child, right? So what they did was use a metaphor to talk about their product in a way that now I got it. I got it. And what else is buried in the story? Let me put on my investor brain for a second, my investor hat. What else is buried in the story is, well, every company's going to have a mobile app. The market opportunity here is huge, right? Is buried in that story. It's the thing that's processing in the back of my mind. Wow, this is big. So I would actually say my one criticism here is I would actually say it was a little too long. Like I did find myself going get to the point a little bit towards the end. So he could have shortened this, but I thought that the use of the story was really powerful. All right, let's do one more. So ScriptPad, this company went through Techstars Boulder in 2010, and he uses a technique that we call twist the knife.
I'm Liam Davis-Mead. I'm here with my co-founder Shane Taylor, and we're ScriptPad. ScriptPad transforms the iPad and iPhone into a digital prescription pad, enabling doctors to write prescriptions faster and safer than their current paper process. Why do this? Because this stuff kills people. This is an example of a completely illegible handwritten paper prescription. The pharmacist in this case dispensed the wrong heart medication because he couldn't read the doctor's handwriting. He mistook Iserdil for Plendil, and instead of controlling the patient's condition, the medication caused a massive and fatal heart attack. And this happens again and again and again. In fact, of the 1.7 billion handwritten prescriptions scrawled out each year on those familiar paper script pads, up to 40% contain some form of error, whether it's missed drug interactions, improper dosing, or just plain unreadable handwriting. Each year, 7,000 people die, and another 1.5 million are injured as a result of these errors, causing billions in avoidable hospitalization.
Let's be honest, who is terrified to ever get a prescription on a piece of paper again? He could have just said, we do digital prescriptions. But that wouldn't have made you feel anything, right? By showing you again and again and again how powerful and important of a problem this is, you walk out of there going, I have to invest in this company. My life is at stake. My children's life is at stake. And all of the prescriptions that are written out there and all of the doctors, I'm going to save lives if I help this company. And it's a huge problem and a huge opportunity, right? They made you feel it. You didn't just hear it, you felt it. And that's what's powerful about a delivery like that, right? So he could very easily just say, we're a digital prescription company. And it wouldn't have been nearly as exciting or nearly as impactful as if he didn't really twist the knife. Make sense? As you're thinking about your pitch, spend 75% of your time here in the first minute and a half. This is the most important part. If you don't get that part right, nothing else that you say in your pitch will matter because people will check out and tune out and you won't get them back. If you bury the fact that you have solved cancer in minute 4, nobody will come talk to you, right? Get that first minute right.